What is up, Breaking Bad fans? Kino here, and we're back with another Breaking Bad log. Today we're looking at the 7th episode of Season 2, Negro y Azul. The episode opens with something we've never seen before, a song. It's called The Ballad of Heisenberg, and it's a narco corrido, or drug ballad. The genre is popular in Mexico as a kind of folk music about the drug trade. The story here is that Heisenberg is now a known figure in Mexico, and this song was written about him. It's also a sign that there is now danger waiting for Walt now that the cartel is aware of his existence. Also, I mentioned this in my Breaking Bad webisodes video, but you can actually hear the Ballad of Heisenberg in an episode of Fear the Walking Dead.
No le han avisado.
Since both shows are on AMC, it's suggested they actually take place in the same universe. There are even fan theories that it's Walt's blue meth that somehow causes the zombie outbreak. But as I mentioned in that video, it's just a small Easter egg for fans of both shows. After the title, we see Walt in his class after school. One of his students is asking for a pass even though he failed his test. Walt, however, sees through his bullshit and tells him to apply himself next time. The interaction makes us think of what the relationship with Jesse must have been like back when Walt was a teacher. Afterwards, Walt tries calling Jesse, who he hasn't heard from in days. Not picking up, he then drives down to Jesse's house. Jane hears him knocking, and Walt introduces himself as Jesse's father. This is of course a cover story, but it does hint at the vaguely father and son relationship that they have. Jesse eventually lets Walt in, and he tells him about what happened with Spooge. Jesse is traumatized after seeing him killed, so Walt is left to meet with their dealers in his stead. Meanwhile, Hank arrives in the El Paso office after his promotion. However, he finds himself isolated from the other agents, who look down on him for his inexperience with the cartel and the fact that he doesn't speak Spanish. The DEA has an informant in the cartel, a man named Tortuga, played by the legendary Danny Trejo. However, Hank is frustrated that the DEA is treating this drug dealer like a king in exchange for his information. All these scenes kind of reinforce that Hank is out of his element in El Paso and deeply uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Walt meets with Badger, Combo, and Skinny Pete. The location he meets them at, a museum about atomic bombs, is fitting, given that his alias as Heisenberg comes from Werner Heisenberg, a scientist involved with the Nazis' nuclear weapon program. After getting the money from them, Walt learns that everyone is now afraid of Jesse since he's rumored to have murdered Spooge. With this information, Walt decides now is the time to expand into new territory. He gives Jesse a motivational speech comparing him to a blowfish, which has become another classic Breaking Bad meme. But it works, and Jesse decides to lean in and become a drug lord. However, as he does so, he gets high and Walt starts coughing, showing their respective weaknesses and the fact that they're out of their league. Meanwhile, Skyler, thinking that they need money now that Gretchen and Elliot cut them off, applies for a job at her old workplace, Beneke Fabricators. She reconnects with the owner, Ted, and he gives her her old job back as an accountant. Ted, who is now divorced, is implied to have feelings for Skyler. One of the reasons she quit was because he drunkenly kissed her at an office party. However, she lied so Walt wouldn't find out, and said it was because of the fumes. So, we see that the lies in their relationship go back much further than just the cancer. In El Paso, the DEA wait in the desert for the drug deal to go down. However, Hank notices something moving towards them. It turns out to be Tortuga, who has been decapitated and attached to a turtle as a message to the DEA. Hank is disgusted by this and goes back to the car before he pukes in front of the other agents. They laugh at him, however, it turns out to be a blessing in disguise as the head explodes. The cartel put a bomb in the head, which ends up blowing off one of the agent's legs. Hank rushes to save him from bleeding out, but we can see that his PTSD is going to get even worse. Back at Jesse's place, he connects with Jane. They bond over their mutual interest in drawing, and Jesse is clearly attracted to her. He invites her over to see his new TV, which at the moment isn't working. However, she ends up holding his hand as the episode ends, showing that she's into him as well. And that's pretty much everything I have to say about this episode. I know I didn't have a whole lot to go over. It was a very plot-centric episode, but stay tuned next one because we have a very interesting character coming up. I'll talk to you guys then. Blowfish. Russell, Sean, Heart of Markness, Logan, Clean, John Reyna, Jesse Sterling, Andrew Stewart, Obsc Racing Media, Daz J. Kit, Conan Higgins, Sam Searlin, Don Lucania, Celery Man, and Jenna Marie Johnson.